And welcome back to Spots and Strikes in Redhill, Surrey. It's the Players' Championships. Vivek Makh will be taking on the great Jon McAllister. Tony Holgate here, and joining me, none other than one of my great buddies and superb commentator plus presenter and sporting guru, Simon Webb.
What a build-up that is. What a build-up.
You don't let everybody down.
Me, Tony. You flatter me. No, it's good to be back. It's nice to have a match off and take a few matches in and walk around the venue, which has got a good buzz and atmosphere to it. But nice to be back here for Jon McAllister and Vivek Makh, a local battle, both from the Coventry area. And it's you have to say it's a matchup where a lot of people are going to be looking at Jon McAllister. He's the defending champion. He is. We were talking about this earlier, Tony, when we went out for lunch. He is right up there. In the pool world, he is such a machine out there. He's just relentless the way he plays, and he'll be a big favourite for the tournament. But Vivek, when we spoke to him earlier on this year, when we were seeing him play, I mean, there's no great runs we can point at, but he's enjoying the game again, and he's a different animal this year than he has been over the last couple.
Yeah, Jon McAllister. I like to refer to him as Juggernaut John because he is an absolute monster of a player. He's on the yellows and, well, just such a great finisher.
Yeah, next shot slightly tricky, off angle, having to come and then work the cue ball, and he's not going to leave a good. The yellow that's nearest the bottom right corner is actually a little bit awkward.
Thing about Jon, from what I've seen over the couple of years, is just his recovery with his potting. When he does fall out of position, he's one of the best in the game for pulling out a big shot and getting back in prime position. He's going to have to do it again.
Very nice. Still not back in perfect position, but well, if he is on the one into right centre and he can nip it to get the red cannon, but he'd be fine. But I don't think he is. Looking at this, well, he's getting down on it, so perhaps he is. Needs to get some bite on it. It looks very thin.
I think it's tight.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's why he's taking his time with it, because he wants to be doubly sure that he can get past, and sometimes it will play tricks on you when you look at it and think, I can get that. Can I? And then, especially, you're going to have to play with a bit of side, because if you want to steer into that red, you're pushing the cue ball towards the black ball as well. Lovely.
Beautiful.
Superb control there from Jon McAllister. So he's digging deep and going all the way back up and back down. He certainly is. Played it very nicely. And after the array of pots that Jon McAllister's just pulled out, there's no way in the world he's missing this 8-ball.
No, too good. Beautiful start from the defending champion. That was very, very good. Playing best of 3 sets here. If you are just joining us for some evening action here on Ultimate Pool TV, it's a 3-set match. And each set will be a race to 5 frames or 30 minutes. This is what's going on over on our second arena, where Zach Shepherd lost the opening set to Callum Singleton, but he is fighting back.
Say they've been there a while.
Yeah, he's 4-2 up in the second set, having lost the first one 5-1. Zach having a decent first year as an Ultimate Pool pro, and Callum also having a good start to the year, losing out in the British Open to Cole Bedford.
Just let it stuck to that yellow. I'm sure Zach didn't want to be there. Anyway, back we come with Vivek Makh breaking off frame number 2.
Just come across the break slightly, but look at the power he generated. Cue ball still spinning because of the side he got on, but still squared up that front ball and plenty of power driven through the pack. And this is a layout that you would love to have. Even if you've lost the opening frame with your opponent making a break dish, if you get this layout, you'd be very happy because it's an opportunity to free your arm up, get going, get the cue ball, get the feel. Margin of error on shots out there.
Yeah, very tidy player, Vivek. Actually knows Dad very well. He plays on the seniors tour. Vic, very, very good player as well. I'll tell you that. He is a canny potter.
Yeah, it was great when they had that run in the Pairs Cup a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's when Vivek was still on the challenger scene, but it was brilliant to see. It was really brought an energy to the Pairs Cup.
Yeah, and they're both characters as well.
Yeah.
Great guys, good fun. I'm sure Vic's watching at home. Hello, Vic. How are you, buddy? Hope you're well and enjoying the pool.
Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see Vic playing in the seniors in Bolton, the new event added in, the seniors and the team event.
That team looks fascinating, actually, I have to say.
Shame you got to commentate, Tony, because you've a couple of events you could be dipping into.
It's just, to be fair, watching it on social media, people trying to get their team sorted has been quite funny.
Perhaps we should get a team together, me, you, and Stephen. We could sneak a team in and try and. I don't know how we'd avoid the commentary side of it, but we'd have some fun with that.
Yeah, we would. What was funny was I saw a couple of guys there from, I don't know, obviously up from in Yorkshire, and one of them had tagged Josh Jahaz and said, were you playing a team with us? And they've come back and said, have you not seen the rules? It says no professionals. And I thought, here we go. The next one will be, can Tom Cousins play?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating 4 days up there in Bolton for what can only be described as an incredible amount of pool.
Whilst we're talking about that, Vivek has done a very, very good job of keeping that cue ball under nice control for his first visit to the table in the match and making the finish look easy. It is one thing to have a nice open layout, but he dealt with it nicely and he's up and running in this match. Both players starting with a break clearance and looking sharp in this opening round match.
Yeah, impressive from Vivek there. Tidy finish. You know, sometimes when you go into these matches and your opponent just starts off with, especially with the break and finish that Jon took out, because it was very, very difficult, because he fell out of position early and had to pull out a vast number of length of the table pots with great position as well. So it's not bothered Vivek. He's gone out. I'll just play my game. Break dish. Over to you. So he's hit the ball firmly back over the net at Jon McAllister.
Oh, gets it. Oh, he's... No, I was about to say he's been saved. And he hasn't been saved. The cue ball was flying in there.
Yeah.
And then ends up not going in the pocket you expect. But it was a bad break from Jon. He knew it straight away. He saw the grimace almost immediately. And actually didn't drive the power through the pack. It's rare to see Jon hit a bad break like that. He normally keeps it under such good control.
Yeah, he does.
And generates easy power. So Vivek has the first opportunity to take one against the break. And it's not a brilliant chance because the three in the bottom end are kind of, they look congested, but it's actually only the middle one of the three that's a problem. The other two actually have pockets.
I don't mind it because you've only got to get sort of to the right-hand side of the red at the bottom of the three, and it goes in the bottom left-hand corner. You can push the yellow out the way, and if you push the red past the black ball, it's all open.
Here's a question for you, though, Tony. In this sort of situation where you've got two very distinct areas of the table, top and bottom end, but you've got to obviously stay with a cue ball in the break area after the break because you've gone in off. Do you stay and just mop up the four at the top and then come down? Because essentially what he's going to do here, he's going to leave his cannon until, ideally, he's playing it with leaving two reds on the table, which, I mean, normally you're talking about trying to deal with your work early. So it's a tricky one to do that with, though.
No, I see what you're saying. And I think it comes with the discipline of, in your own mind, take the balls in one area and come down to the others. But there is that jeopardy that he's leaving his work that needs to be done till the very later stages of the frame.
I've no doubt back when I was playing, I would be going about this in exactly the same way as Vivek.
Yeah, I think I would.
I just think that having commentated a lot on the best players in the world for a long time, especially Tom Cousins, I can see the advantage of coming down to play this shot early, and now he's ended up in a world of trouble.
Yeah, he had to put some side on that and bring the cue ball down, and a long way further down than that. He does have a cut into the bottom right-hand corner. I'm not sure if he could push the cue ball into the 8-ball and then the cue ball will go forward into the 2 reds. I think he might hit it a bit thick and just sort of sail to the left of him and not split that little pack open at all.
Just in time, but it was very thin. He could barely see any more of that, so he might not have had the potting angle.
I think he could see a little bit more of it, and I think what he's done there is he's tried to play it a bit aside and try and force the angle so he could push those 2 reds apart, because there's no value in potting the red and not moving them. So at least he's moved them. But
so good news for him.
Chance,
yeah, good news for him is he's blocked the yellow on the right-hand side off. Bad news is that is the only bad ball on the table for Jon McAllister. And he's got an angle to deal with it straight away. But it's not gone to plan. It was very unfortunate, wasn't it?
Yeah, an unfriendly bump there. Play to get the ball out. But the bump from the yellow has sent the cue ball into a very unfriendly position. So I like that from Jon. He could see the yellow next to the 8-ball. Why? But he refused to play it because obviously he's knocking the black into the open, and he'd rather leave at least Vivek with some work to do if he's not going to clear up himself.
Vivek eyeing up a long plant, and he's got the angle to develop the 8-ball. But is it better to avoid the 8-ball here, because he can probably pot it, but it's doing some work with him on the yellow. What does he do here? Bold, very bold, and no good.
Well, it's given Jon McAllister a clear run at the yellows. It's just the one that's next to that red at the bottom of the table he's got to get on. But with all Jon's ability, and he's got 5 yellows there, he can pick and choose which one he does. He might just run this into the middle and come down now and get shot of it. Of the next one in the middle, and I'm sure that's what he'll do. He could just run this one in now and get the cue ball below the yellow and play it into the right-hand centre. Cue ball then in the middle of the table, the other 3 yellows are dead, black's over the bag. Well, I'm surprised. Nope. Yeah. All day long I'm playing this. Little bit aside, just give himself a nice angle to roll the cue ball up, and that's perfect. Couldn't have played that any better. This now is at the mercy of Jon McAllister. And he should take a 2-frame-to-1 lead in this opening set.
Well played frame that from Jon. The containing shot that he played was clever, not opening up. And, you know, obviously he left I'm not even going to call it a half chance. He left Vivek an opportunity for a very ambitious long plant, but that was it.
Yeah, he forced him. He forced him to, and he knew full well that Vivek was going to then move the black into the open as well. The worst thing for Vivek is he also moved the black into the open and left Jon on the yellow.
Yeah.
So it was
I think a risk too
over.
far, but that was the decision he made.
Yeah.
And the good news is that from his perspective and the way the match started, you can kind of put it on those terms, is that it was on a Jon McAllister break. So he's still got his own break here. He breaks and clears like all pros back themselves to do. He's back on terms. Oh, a better break than his first one.
Yeah, it's a great break.
May not be as good a split, but it's still pretty good. I mean, it's still very good.
Yeah, plenty of power in that break without having to look like he's generated that much. It's a snap break, almost. Vivek electing to choose yellows.
Does that tell us the yellow sneaks in bottom right?
I think it must do.
Yeah, you wouldn't go that way otherwise, would you?
No.
I was assuming he was going to have to go reds.
I think it might be a bit tight because he pondered. I'm sure he pondered reds. Yeah. But if he's convinced himself it does go, and I think it slides off the jaw. It's one of those. If he gets in the right spot and he can just screw back a little bit and play the one in the middle, or does he go for the one in the middle next? But he takes the two down the bottom of the table.
Well,
now.
You can see there it will sneak in. He's a little off angle the wrong way for me.
Yeah, I think he'd have liked to come down a little bit further there and play the yellow into the centre.
If he was just off the other way round, then he's pretty good on this into right centre, isn't he? That was the difference between the fractions of these two rolls to the right there when he could have been as well. He was so good on the ball to the middle. That was a slight mistake, those sort of subtle mistakes that you don't necessarily notice in real time.
He's going for the chop into the centre here.
Yeah, it just makes this tougher and the cue ball tougher.
Nope.
And it's forced the miss off the back of it.
That was all just because of those couple of inches he landed short on the one that he wanted to play in the centre before the corner ball. So now Jon McAllister with an opportunity to give himself a bit of a cushion.
We've got another deciding frame of a deciding set going on right now. Luke McAvoy and Phil Parkin.
Ooh, that's been toing and throwing out that game.
Yeah, both sets. The first set was 5-4 to Luke McAvoy. The second set was 5-4 to Phil Parkin. And we are 4-4. So all three sets going the full distance in that match. Great match. These set matches really add drama, really add excitement.
And we've had one or two upsets as well about the place. But it is double elimination. So nobody's going home today.
Yeah, loser round is tomorrow. So everybody that loses today will play tomorrow. That's at 10 a.m. We'll be on air at 11. We'll be bringing you a selection of matches from the winners round. So that's the middle winners round, if you like. 2 rounds from the winners side of the draw tomorrow to get yourself into the last 16 if you win them both. That's your work for the day done. If you lose, double work to do to get back into the competition.
Tricky little shot here for Jon. That's why he took his extension.
Yeah. Oh, and he tried to force the angle that wasn't there. And he's not going to get away with it. I was wondering whether that red would block the yellow. It hasn't, although he doesn't have a good first ball on. So he's sort of got a half away with it, but you still expect Vivek to be able to play this yellow off the cushion, off the red, or manufacture something else or take control. At least he gets back to the table from his perspective.
Yeah, Jon just found himself a little bit straight on that red. So Vivek now playing the shot you suggested. He's made the pot, but it's not landed very nice at all. In fact, I don't think it could have landed much worse.
I'm not sure how you're going to get on that yellow at the top better than dink the one you're next to in and try and just kind of almost you know, just put the cue ball on the bottom jaw of the right centre pocket and leave a very thin clip along the top cushion. He's going to play this one now. Just a safety shot. I'm not sure that's going to gain him any advantage because that red still goes. If you play that shot, that yellow's got to sit right on top of the red.
Yeah.
I quite like, I mean, it's difficult to tell because if he had more angle than I was suggesting, if the sort of dink and leave the cue ball by the right centre pocket wasn't available, then the shot wasn't on. But if it was, then that clip along the top cushion is makeable. But good things can happen if you'd kind of put that over the pocket. It might have given you a sort of swinging chance for an 8-ball, maybe from a snooker or, you know, from somewhere. But he decided to go for containing.
Yeah, he played a decent shot there, Jon. There was no value in just going willy-nilly for game there. Just letting Vivek have another go at his yellow, hoping that he puts him on the red.
Well, he's done the same thing again where that red will still go. Not from here, but it will still go.
Must have putting him in pretty much back in the same position he was. Just tied up the 8-ball and the red up the top there. Vivek having a look to see if he can push this yellow through the red a bit. Because now that Jon's made that other red a bit trickier, he might be a little bit more, let's say, adventurous.
Clever loss of turn shot. He could do that because the red's gone safe with the 8-ball.
Yeah, good shot there.
He couldn't do that previously. So that's kind of a mistake from Jon, really, to allow that shot to be available. Still a good shot from Vivek, though.
Now, does he play the well over the bag and come around and try and play the double with the red? Or does he try and go into red and black? He has to attack, surely. No? Twice across with the red into the other middle. That's what he went for. Didn't get it.
Poor frame from Jon McAllister's side of the table, really. He would have expected to counter when he got his first chance in the frame, and a couple of loose shots on the trot, really. Vivek gets an opportunity to get himself back all square with about 10 minutes left in this opening set.
The only thing here is if the black's not moved, it's going to be a double that Vivek's going to have to play on the black ball. And there you see he's standing where he wants to be. Wants to just come sort of back past the bolt line a little bit. Went a bit further than he wanted. He's now got to make this double. If he landed by the bolt line, it was more of a straight double, but now it's a thinnish cut back into the middle. So this to level this first set for Vivek Makh. It's very close. That close, it's in.
He knew straight away.
Yeah.
He knew the moment he hit it. And definitely one that's got away there for Jon McAllister. Vivek winning the frame with his second opportunity, real opportunity. And some clever tactical play. I thought that loss of turn, the decision-making to play that loss of turn was excellent, forcing Jon's hand. And this is into a deciding set for Callum Singleton and Zach Shepherd. As we see Callum win the opening frame of the second set. In fact, that's one frame all. No, it's not. Yes, it is. One frame all, one set all. Also, I mentioned the other match that was into a deciding set and a deciding frame of the deciding set, with every frame going hill-hill, every set going hill-hill. Luke McAvoy got the win.
Wow.
Yeah, 5-4 in the decider against Phil Parkin. He'll go on tomorrow and play Craig Waddingham. 8-ball was close. 8-ball still close. No golden breaks in play, so
how's that stayed out?
the 8-ball would come back up if it did fall.
Bit of a cluster there.
Jon's changed to the cut break there as well. Normally very good at the front ball, but moved away from it very quickly here.
All about this next shot. Cuts this yellow in the bottom corner and goes into these yellows and reds.
Well, that was a strange one. Surely he was playing the red and yellow together then.
I thought he would be.
Yeah. Maybe he felt if he got the full ball on that yellow, he could pop the yellow to bottom left. Didn't need to move it. Because there's no, for me, Jon's not normally that far away with his cue ball. Because it was an actual line that he had to just put a trace here or there on, and he was out by quite a distance if he was playing the cannon on the red and yellow together. Big 8.5 minutes left in this set then. We're not going to get the full distance, you feel. Certainly not going to get 9 frames in. Player might get to 5, but it's looking unlikely the way these are laid out. So the winner of this frame could go a long way to winning the opening set.
Yeah, there's no real quick fix to this frame at the moment. Jon going to play probably yellow off the red and push it down towards this bottom right-hand corner. And he does so.
Yeah, nicely done.
So at the moment what you got is Jon McAllister just trying to carve himself out a little opportunity, because if he can get to see the yellows, it's gone, and Vivek's trying to stop him. Well, he's blocked off another yellow. Jon surely now pots one over the bag and scream into these 2 reds and yellow. I'll go in really hard. You've surely got to land on a yellow. Yeah, that's well played.
Yeah, perfectly played.
Jon McAllister is going to edge out back in front once again. It's a 3-2.
It is. Just under 7 minutes to play in this opening set. Best of 3 sets. So still a long way to go in the match, but opening set into its final few minutes. And don't think that's a frame that Vivek can be too hard on himself with. He was the layout of the table wasn't great, even though he got some table time. He was always second favourite for it, and also it was on a Jon McAllister break. So put your focus on your next break. Try and get yourself an opportunity. Phil Harrison has won his opening set. He's playing Rob Chambers, and he has won it 5-0. So Rob off to a slow start. Rob's brother, Jon, is into a deciding set against Carl Morris. Carl Morris has the advantage in the decider at 3-2. They're playing about as close to us as could be possible, Tony. Almost feel like they could hear us talking about...
We could interfere with that match, definitely.
No doubt about it. Carl Morris currently at the table. As Vivek's very fortunate to keep the cue ball on the table in our main feature game here. But that means he gets the opportunity here, and it's a decision time.
Yeah, it's a sticky one, really, for Vivek here. He's going to take on the tough yellow. Yellows are the better ball. Oh, that's a cracking pot.
Yeah, I like that.
That's like his dad. His dad does that all the time. Length of the table, pushed up.
A lot of people in that situation take on reds because you feel like that's the ball you can take on, but Vivek's gone for yellows, which I agree with you, Tony, were laid out nicer.
Well,
the problem was solvable, and he has solved it, although he hasn't landed nicely on his next ball. So one more good pot to get into prime position, you feel.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for avoiding that ball up the rail and queuing over the red. Once again, Vivek Makh pulls out a big pot. He wanted to come a bit further over.
Yeah, another...
He can still get there, though.
Another, what, 6 inches would have been perfect. This time. He misses. Trying to come twice across. I wonder whether just floating it in pocket weight and just playing right-hand side of that yellow at the top would have been easier.
That's a better shot. I think so. But he was all in. Unfortunately for Vivek, he's left. Oh, hello. I thought for a minute it's just Jon's body language. Then when he hit that, he didn't like it, did he?
No, he didn't. He's landed okay.
Yeah, he's got an angle so he can pop this red in and get the cue ball down onto the red on the bottom rail.
I suspect the one on the bottom rail was going to be his last ball originally, just the way these are laid out.
No.
And he's not on the one at the bottom.
No, a bit loose there again from Jon. And I'll tell you what, now we've got a big shot. This red down the rail with bags of left-hand side coming across into the right-hand cushion and then back into that gap between red and yellow.
Oh, my word, that's so good. It's so good. That is ridiculously good because the set's on the line there. If he doesn't make that, it's 3-3 in a heartbeat. What a shot from Jon McAllister. That is a set winner.
Well, for me, that is the best shot we've seen today on the live stream. Played by Jon McAllister, and I'll tell you what, and as he mops up the black ball, that's hard to top. I mean, the accuracy, the control, and just the toughness of the pot. We'll have another look. I mean, that is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from McAllister. Yeah, Vivek would have thought probably for a fleeting second.
Gives you hope, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'd sit there thinking, I'm going to get a little chance here. I might have a sneak in, and then your opponent does that, and you think, wow, you big tease, you.
Yeah,
but
gets taken away from you.
Tremendous cueing from McAllister.
Frame 7, Jon McAllister's break. Only 4 frames to 2.
So McAllister breaking off now. 4-2 up in this first set, 3 minutes 45 left on the set clock. And what's he got? He has a yellow. He also had a red as well, so he's got a couple of balls off the break there, McAllister. Was that quick? I didn't see the red go in. Both balls going in the top corners. So now what does Jon choose?
At 2 in front with 3:20 to play, doesn't matter too much. He can just control himself, and it's very difficult to lose 2 frames from here.
I think the confidence level will have just shot up as well from McAllister there as he just took on that ball. All right, it's away from the rail and that, but he's looking menacing. Gets in decent position here, and this will be the end of the first set. It was 2-2, and it's just McAllister's just found a bit. He's found another gear at the right time, which the big boys at the top of the pile seem to always manage to do. Just wants to be straight here so he can screw straight back down for the red at the bottom. He's down very quickly, so he must be quite happy with his position. Played it very well, just nudged into the yellow, and now, as you can see, a lovely angle, pops this in, black in the middle, and this will be the opening set to Jon McAllister. And he just really shifted through the gears in the last couple of frames. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, it really was. Big shot at the right time for Jon McAllister, and the defending champion takes his opening set here and goes 1-0 up against Vivek Makh at the Players' Championship. Vivek Makh has it all to do here at the Players' Championship, dropping his opening set against the defending champion, Jon McAllister. Tony, I'm going to ask you here, what does Vivek need to do? Because I felt like he had enough table time and enough chances to probably get some more out of that set. Certainly take it deeper. It felt more one-sided at the back end than it probably was for the majority of the set.
What does he need to do? Well, he needs Jon McAllister to not take out balls like that ridiculous red down that rail. But he needs to get balls off the break for a start. But I just feel that McAllister has got more gears. Vivek took out some wonderful finishes right at the start of
started strong.
set.
Both players started strongly. Then it got very mixy in the middle, but
it all sort of started when Vivek, I think it was at the 4th frame when he potted a red, he had to come past. Remember we discussed it, would you take the reds in the order at the top of the table and now that cluster at the bottom? And he fell out of position then. It all sort of...
I think he still won that frame though, didn't he? Because that was frame 4. It went 2-2, then Jon went 3-2 up, and then it was that ball down the cushion at 3-2 up that Jon had no right to make, really. That if that doesn't go in, he probably loses it and it's 3-3. He makes it 4-2.
I mean, you look at it, it was 5-2.
It didn't feel like a 5-2. No, it really didn't.
It felt like Vivek made one more mistake than Jon did, and he got punished doubly for it.
The problem that Vivek's got is that Jon is the sort of player that can just build on that and now play kind of almost a lights out set, and Vivek may have missed his chance, but he can't think like that. But here's Jon in the opening frame of the second set, off of Vivek Makh break, and he looks poised to go 1-0 up and have the next break.
Yeah, this will hurt. Because you have that little break, you think, okay, I've lost the first set, right, let's get myself tuned back in, refresh, reset, start again, and then you get a bad break, and in comes your opponent who's actually looking like he's about to move into overdrive. And he's also the defending champion.
Smiling because I don't think he's fully happy with how he's controlling the cue ball right now. So it's like you don't really get too much from Jon. Normally he keeps himself very much to himself out there, but there was a little bit of a wry smile where he knows he's not quite getting the cue ball where he wants, but he also knows he's still going to make the finish.
I will say it's not because he's overrunning it, it's landing short. And I think he's just been fooled a little bit by the cloth. So Jon McAllister does punish Vivek Makh to the hilt and now leads set 2 by 1 frame to 0, already earning the first set. It's a man on a mission to me.
𝗪𝗫𝗀𝗃 is turning this one around in other arena game. 3-1 up now in the deciding set, having dropped the opening set 5-1.
And he looked rather happy there. He made a ball off that break.
And this is why set play is so fascinating. They're actually tied on frames 1. Both players have won 9 frames in that match, but 𝗪𝗫𝗃𝗃's by far the happiest player.
Yeah, you could win the most frames in the match and go out the tournament.
Yeah. Eight balls flying, 8 balls in. So's the cue ball. Don't worry, it's not loss of frame. It is a very much just the 8 ball comes up. It's also still not the break that Jon wanted, because it's going to be cue ball in hand anywhere in the break area for Vivek.
Yeah, cue ball took a couple of bumps off cascading balls. Went into the corner.
No golden breaks or ducks in play.
No. So Vivek, ball in hand in the kitchen.
I was about to say kitchen.
I know you were. I could see it in your eyes.
Obviously spending a lot of time as you are now in America, and some of the terms I really just love and embrace.
I like the kitchen as well.
Is one of them.
Yeah.
Kitchen and treetop, I think, my 2 favourite. And I try not to use them, because if I do use them in English ball, people will be all over me going, "What are you doing?" But I love it. I don't know why it works, but it does.
JMO likes the kitchen, but that's because he's always eating.
Yeah. The break area in America, they call it the kitchen, for those wondering what on earth we are talking about. Anyway, regardless of whether we're talking about the kitchen or the break area, Vivek Makh is very much in position here to return the favour on Jon McAllister and go 1-1. And this is the sort of chance he needed just to get some positivity back into his cue arm.
Well, this is what he was doing at the opening of the first set. Getting to the table, potting the balls.
That was beautifully played. That was a great touch, because another roll harder with the yellow there, and it's tied up. A roll and a half less, it doesn't go. And that was a really nicely controlled shot from Vivek.
Yeah, lovely player is Vivek. He just wanted the cue ball a little bit further than that. He's okay. But if you're going to be hypercritical, you want it to come a little bit further. But played that nicely.
Yeah, we're going to be hypercritical again. That's a little bit short as well.
Just drop this in. Black ball in the bottom left. Good response. And it's off Jon McAllister's break as well. Very nicely done there by Vivek Makh, and we are locked in set 2, 1 each.
Yeah, just looking at some of the scores around the tables right now, and you've got to feel, as we just check in on Zach Shepherd making a mistake there against Callum Singleton, chance for Callum to get back into the match there, and he needs it as well at 3-1 down in the deciding set. But the score I want to check in on, and you've got to feel for Rob Chambers. 1-0 in the opening set. His cue was knocked over and the tip was dislodged. He had to have a break and have his tip retipped, and his cue retipped rather, and he's currently 5-0 down. 5-0 he lost the opening set, and he's 3-0 down in the second set to Phil Harrison. So a real tough one for Rob. And
did you know who knocked his cue over?
I'm aware that it was Phil Harrison, yeah. I just didn't want to say it. But that's a tough one for Rob. And if the worst is to happen there, hopefully he can get some. Well, there is practice tables here. Can get some practice table time and try and get used to that tip. And
it's a great tactic to use, though. When I used to play, I'd just go and snap my opponent's cue and just kick it around the arena. So there you go, play with a bar stool, mate.
Yeah. Another 5-0 scoreline. Dylan Leary, who had nothing going for him on Monday night in the Champions League. He has won the opening set against former world champion 𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏 5-0 as well. It's just gone 5-0, 4-0 Phil Harrison over Rob Chambers.
Ouch.
Yeah, tough one.
Extension called.
In that sort of situation, I was going to say that Phil will probably feel awful for doing what, he didn't do it on purpose, but he's such a competitor. I guarantee he doesn't.
You say that, and if he plays his next match and then his next opponent's running around with no tip on his cue. No, he wouldn't. Obviously not deliberate at all. I am joking, by the way, before anybody jumps up and says, well, what you saying about Phil? No, Phil's an absolute gentleman and a great player, but it's an unfortunate thing because it's not carpet there, is it, where they're playing? And so if you did drop your cue or it did get knocked over, it's quite a firm floor to land on.
As Vivek misses there, that was a very thin first ball he had to take on, and actually ended up not too bad. It'd be disappointed to miss this one. Just playing with an awful lot of right-hand side and pushed into the yellow and catches it thick. And that's the end of his chance as Phil Harrison wraps up the match 5-0, 5-0.
Unbelievable.
That last frame was so quick, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a concession from Rob Chambers. And I do feel for him, but he'll be back tomorrow in the loser's side.
If you Phil Harrison, do you say to Rob, you should put your tip on a bit more securely?
Yeah, you apologise and move on.
I'm sure that's happening right now.
Yeah,
it's a horrible situation, isn't it? But them's the breaks. Jon McAllister now, red down the rail. In it goes. Just wants the cue ball to come out off this side rail and back for the red into the bottom right-hand corner. And he will take that quite happily.
Is he slightly off angle to get good position on the final red? Maybe he might not get behind it. He might have to take it on a slightly thinner angle. He'll certainly get on it to a point.
I think he's fine. I think he has a choice. I think he could be greedy and go the other side of the yellow up towards it, or just come straight back.
Well, he's got enough angle, hasn't he? I thought he might have been a touch straighter and not be able to do that.
This is the ungreedy approach, by the way.
Yeah. You were thinking get above the yellow.
Yeah. But then
it's not worth the risk, is it?
No, it's not, because you can put too much side on, and
you're tracking the red. Then you're too close to it potentially. And when you can pot like that, why do you need to?
Yeah, he's looking very confident now, Jon McAllister. And down goes the black ball, and McAllister edges in front once again in this second set.
Tracking towards playing the winner of Aidan Hughes and Carl Sutton.
Little shaking the head down.
Oh, I'm being told in my ear by our director he's watching the football on the telly at the same time as playing this, because
Coventry are playing Sunderland.
Coventry are playing Sunderland right now. And I think he might be shaking his head because of the scoreline. It's currently 1-0 to Sunderland.
We just pop that.
In fact, Sunderland have just scored, so that's exactly what he was shaking his head at.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a TV screen behind where the arena is, and behind the cameras up on the wall. So that wasn't even on earlier. When I nipped out, say half an hour ago, that TV wasn't on. So there's somebody that obviously requested it. Mate, I'll tell you who's done it. Vivek, try and put Jon off.
Yeah, but I think Vivek might be a Coventry fan as well.
Yeah.
So,
is he?
I think so. Well,
he's not watching it.
He's Coventry based, isn't he? So I think he is.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. Apologies if you're not Vivek.
Maybe Phil Harrison's requested it. I'm trying to. Maybe he's got the winner.
In fact, I've probably done him a disservice. I'm being told in my ear that he's a Birmingham fan. So.
And it's 1-1, by the way.
Oh, we cut to Jon now, we'll be smiling.
Well, Vivek Makh cruising through these reds. And he's putting up a credible fight. You want to be on the one in the middle there. He's come a little bit too far, but he's pulled out a nice pot. So keep yourself at the table. Has he got enough angle just to pull back and have this red in the middle, or is he going to have to take it?
I think he's just
long?
off the wrong way. I think he's got to take it long, but then he's off angle long, but he's got room to use the right side cushion. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to have to do.
Well, his long potting is very good, Vivek Makh. So you'd expect him to get this, bring the cue ball, punch it off the side rail and back out for the black ball. That's in. Now he comes. Very nice from Vivek. Pulls it level again in this second set. 2 frames all.
Hanging tough. And that is a happy Jon McAllister.
Right on cue.
As Sunderland get themselves all square. Now he can
Coventry.
focus. Sorry, Coventry get them all square against Sunderland, and he can concentrate on the pool. What other sport could you be watching the football while you're playing out there in a
crazy
professional tournament? As we're talking about that, Carl Morris has just completed victory over John Chambers.
Wow.
5-3 in the deciding set. So a bad few minutes for the Chambers brothers. They'll both be back tomorrow on the loser's side of the draw. Best control he's had of the cue ball in the match, and the reward is a very good opportunity, similar level to his opening one of the whole match.
Yeah, yellows look the better option.
you think the two in the middle of the table, do you think the left-hand one goes bottom left corner? Or do you think you're going to have to come all the way down? If it does, I like taking it that way because it allows you to keep the visit a little cleaner.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much angle he has on this yellow at the top as well. He's okay. He's got
enough angle to come down if he wants to. And he's decided to, but I don't like the cannon. I don't like the cannon. That's not a good shot.
Does the yellow go off the other yellow into the centre? Past that red. That's his only shot. Straight away, that's the only shot he has. You have to get the cue up in the air here, dig into it so it hits probably just past the centre of the second yellow, and he might be able to just bump it off there and into the middle. Oh, he's dollied it. That's a foul.
Yeah, he'll be really disappointed because that was such a good layout. A really good opportunity to get himself in front here in set number 3, and very disappointed.
He was trying to play this and he's just jammed it. He's basically played it when he wasn't ready to play it. His arm went ahead before his mind was ready to play that shot, if you like. So just as quick as he got himself back level with Jon in his second set, he's just handed him an absolute gift. Immediately, obviously Jon puts himself on his most awkward red, says thank you very much, kicks the black ball out into the open, and he's on a red right in his centre where he could go straight up into the corner. So these are basically at the mercy of the man from Coventry. That's okay. Needed to leave any sort of angle so he could play this red along the top rail. Just bring the cue ball out. Again, he wants an angle a bit straight on that. Thought he'd put it in with a bit more force than I thought he would have done. He obviously wanted to leave himself a little cut with the red into the corner so the cue ball comes to the side rail and back over, have the other one in the middle. It's a bit more punchy now with his shot. Played it very nicely though. And has he got, all he needs is a teeny bit of angle to get the cue ball past the 8.
It looks like he's got it the wrong way around to me. Maybe he can pinch it and really force this.
𝗟𝗏𝗃 just comes back and he has to play it quite a thin red into that corner. But if you've got a tiny bit, he can just punch through that gap.
Oh, he had just enough, but he gets it wrong.
And a friendly bump.
But a very friendly bump. He actually had plenty of angle, really. He didn't have it bad at all.
Well, just needs to plot this plain ball. Cue ball's going to come up for the black in the same pocket. In it goes. And again, he just edges one more closer.
Very much a missed opportunity for Vivek Makh. Very similar feel to the opening set, really. Just those key moments going against Vivek right now. 𝗏𝗃 has completed victory over 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. 2-0, 5-4, 5-3. Good win that for 𝗏𝗃, a new professional this year. Dom Cooney is 1-0 up over Andy Williams. 5-3 in the opening set. 3-3 in set number 2. So a big couple of frames potentially there for Andy Williams to keep his opening match alive. If not, Dom Cooney will make it through and he'll have a match against his good friend Luke Gilbert tomorrow.
Hashtag Team Blessed.
Team Blessed. I hope that one's on the main table if that was to happen. Still a long way to go in that one. Andy Williams certainly has a say. And that's the beauty of set play. It can turn around. Dry break from Jon, but not a good layout.
No.
The only difference with this set and the last one is this one's gone along at a much quicker pace. So there's still 14 and a bit minutes left in this match, whereas this set, whereas the first set at this stage was a lot further ahead, deep into the last 10 minutes. So there's more time for Vivek to not panic on the clock.
Why don't you just try and play the red off the other red and try and kick it back into the top corner?
He went for it direct, and well, that's a disaster because that's opened everything up and given Jon ball in hand.
Well, you have to take reds just purely because of where the 8 ball is and the red in front of it.
It's the 2 reds together.
Yeah.
That's the... Okay, so he can pot the 1 to top right and then open up. That will open up the other 2 to top right. So if he takes, doesn't actually have to play a cannon here at all. He decides to though, because he could do it with control, and he might bump the 8 ball into play here as well.
Just thinking the same thing. Although he's not really bothered about balls close to cushions. Jon. The red above the black next. Take the red then that's closest to him again, up there. And the other 3 reds are in a little line together.
I think a lot of players in that situation would have played the cannon on the 8 ball. But bad things can happen there. He could send it down and block off the left centre pocket and could potentially make things awkward. It was unlikely, but Jon knows he's going to get the perfect position onto the 8 ball as long as he keeps things clean here, because he's got the red near the left centre pocket.
Exactly, you'd expect him to be right behind it.
Yeah, and then he's not knows he's not going to miss it.
No.
He might not be though with that cannon. That wasn't the best.
Got a switch ball now. You've got to play the one in the middle next. This is where he wants to come past already. Yeah, you can see there. He's not best pleased with himself there, but he has to come past the other red, leave an angle to screw up towards the 8 ball then.
Played that beautifully. Or has he come up 1 roll short? It looks like he's got just enough to punch across.
I think he's okay. Well, the worst case scenario, he's potting it, screwing back a bit and playing a cut up the rail. And we've already seen him knock 1 tremendous red in the first set. So it was, I'd say, a heck of a lot harder than what this one's going to be. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he just got a tiny bit.
Just shows you, it looked like he was going to keep it so clean and make it so easy to get behind that 8 ball, and all of a sudden he's not going to get right behind it.
What we were saying earlier, that he wasn't happy with his position through parts of this match, but it's all been short. It's not been overrunning. So this black to go onto the hill, tough.
Oh no. Chance for 3-3 here for Vivek.
Well, as tough as that black ball was, I'd have still had a couple of... Oh, my word. I was going to say I'd have had a couple of quid on Jon McAllister to make the black, but that is incredible. That's a concession frame there from Vivek Makh. He missed the long yellow into the corner.
But the yellow fell in. Watch the yellow hit. Falls in. Or did he concede?
No.
He conceded with his... I wonder what was going on.
Fell in.
I was watching it was very strange.
Yeah, no, I sort of saw him put his hand on. So he's given Jon the black over the pocket.
He's conceded the frame here, but the referee 𝗪𝗫𝗀𝗃 was saying that the yellow has to be put back on the table.
Because of the clock, obviously.
But with the 8 ball over the pocket, you just let the concession stand here. I understand the situation. You know, but Jon's getting to have cue ball in hand and the 8 ball over the pocket. I mean, this is one of those that I absolutely understand the situation. You know, in a match clock era, you know, the right thing to do is to put this back. But I mean, it's just not necessary, is it really?
Yeah,
everybody can see the funny side of it.
Yeah.
I do not blame 𝗪𝗫𝗃𝗃 whatsoever. He has to play by the rules here.
It'd be funny if Jon put the cue ball behind the yellow and deliberately snooked himself and then came off the rail and bottom.
I love the fact he played it from where it was, but he actually had cue ball in hand there as well. He could
I know. Yeah, I think I'd have put it a lot closer than that.
Very strange situation there, and one that Vivek's going to be actually, I mean, he's laughing it off, but he'll be very annoyed.
Yeah. Doesn't take away.
And this is
4-2.
our other match currently going on, and Callum Singleton is on the hill versus Zach Shepherd in the deciding frame. He's 4-3 up.
He was 3-1 down,
And he was
wasn't
3-1 down in this set. But these 4 hot balls here are for victory. A cracking match, this one.
I'll tell you what, he's played a very good shot there because he's now giving himself the angle to roll down for this yellow next to the red into the centre. And he's having a good season, this man. Very good season, Callum. Yeah, he's done well to come back from there. Obviously, we haven't seen a lot of the match, but
we're back underway on our match. Vivek actually went in off on the break in a very unfortunate way, so John's going to have his opportunity to win the match. But we're going to come back and just check in on Callum, who's got this 8-balled 4 victory over Zach Shepherd. No mistakes there. Cracking match that Callum Singleton has got the victory. Won the opening set 5-1. Then lost the second set 5-3 and wins the final set from 3-1 down 5-3. Good performance from Callum, who's looking to have another good run here following a good run at the British Open earlier this year.
Certainly a man in form this season, Callum.
Another very, very talented ball player. There are so many good ball players around. John is one of the best, and he is in for his victory here as well.
15 seconds of shot now, but this won't phase Jon McAllister. Nice control. It's just about getting the cue ball now out away from those yellows. Does he screw back through the gap? I think he does. And John will take that. Just drops this in. He's going to leave himself the 8-ball into the left-hand centre, and this will be to get over the line.
And the defending champion gets himself into the second round. A very solid performance from John. Not his absolute brilliant best. Enough in there to give Vivek hope, but Vivek just made too many mistakes at the wrong time as the sets got a little bit deeper. So Vivek's going to have to go and get the job done in the loser's side of the draw, but it is very much Jon McAllister that marches